brief. Reporting and communication. So, as I said, we will be repeating some principles so that you can remember about them. I don't want to be a source of greenwashing. I don't want to be accused that I trained someone in a bad way. So I need to repeat. You need to do the report that is relevant for your company, that is complete, consistent, transparent, and accurate, right? Relevant means it's about you, your emissions, right? Complete is that you don't omit any emissions, you don't report on half of the buildings that you have, right? Consistent, year to year, we use the same approach. I think you did encounter some issues with being consistent between the round 1 and round 2 emission game, right? So you can see importance about being consistent, having the same approach. Transparency is about providing the proper sources of factors and so on. You can actually download the greenhouse gas protocol Excel. No, even the one that we shared with you has the disclaimers, have the factors. You can see that it's also designed to be transparent, right? And the accuracy is about being as accurate as possible. So when it comes to report structure, I did show you some basic report structure kind of suggested by greenhouse gas protocol. So let's look into some details here. So first of all, we do the introduction. So we talk about general information about the financial institution or the organization that is reporting. We explain the purpose of the report, greenhouse gas emission report, and then we move into the scope of reporting. So we define against which scopes you will be reporting. You list the sources of emissions, and then in the third point you provide information, greenhouse gas emission information, right? And then we move to methodology and calculation. So you say which methodology you are using. You add up the sources according to the different scopes. You apply proper emission factors, and then aggregate the emissions into one, right? And I think I said it to some of the groups, but I want to explain it during the session as well. The Excel of the GHG protocol, if you download it, because we did modify it for the purpose of the game a little bit, we modified the tabs. If you download the pure clean Excel, you will have a reporting tab there that already provides you with scope 1, scope 2, scope 3 emissions. So the steps that you were taking during the game, applying the scope number to the actions, the Excel actually does it automatically for you, right? So we did that only for the purpose of education. So at the end, the Excel also produces the result and metrics. And by the way, we also had this presentation of this great tool that is being developed, which is, I guess, more user-friendly than the Excel itself. It has a little bit more functionalities, and it's easier to edit. So at the end, such tools provide also kind of reporting format, let's say. I mean, the results in a metric format. Then in your report, you need to analyze what you just calculated, right? What's the conclusions of the emissions that you calculated? And you need to recognize the risks that we were talking about, both the transitional risk and physical risks, point out any weak places in your institution, in your portfolio. You know, you might have some coal-related companies in your portfolio, and you need to kind of say what you will do with that. Many of the financial institutions just disinvest from these companies, right? Especially given if you're in a country where the coal is going away from the energy mix. So of course you also, so you point out the weak spots, and then you can discuss the mitigation strategies. And of course you need to disclose all the assumptions, verification information, and so on. And at the end, it's also great to provide some targets, some plans for future improvements, to reduce your greenhouse gases, but also to improve the reporting. For example, you know that you used some less accurate data, and you might state that next year you will work on making the data more accurate. Right? So, of course, as an institution, you need to get to know what is required when it comes to GHG reporting. But typically, of course, besides the basic information, assumptions, and so on, you would the companies would report on scope 1 and 2. And the scope 3 typically would be optional. However, we live in a very fast-changing regulatory environment, and in many places, the scope 3 emissions become slowly also required to be reported. Another thing that I will repeat the last time for these 3 days is no double counting. Please don't account for the same emissions twice, because it makes you look worse. And especially, please don't account twice for the same emission reductions. This would be pure, double counting, right? Where it might happen for the financial institution is when you're financing companies that buy heat pumps, let's say, right? And you account for the scope 3 emissions, right? And then, but at the same time, you're providing finance to the vendors, let's say trade facilitation, you do, right? To bring the heat pumps to the country. And the same heat pumps, you help to import, you finance the stock of the vendor, and then you finance to another company that will be the end user, right? So you cannot account twice for the emissions, right? And this is a real case. I mean, I work in one green facility where we have both vendor support and support to the end users, and we went through this discussion. And obviously, we didn't do any double counting. Yes? Well, actually, the discussion didn't yet end, but I am opting to report on emissions of the end user, not the vendor. The donor has a different idea. But this is because of other issues. But of course, we will not be doing any double counting. They might consider splitting it somehow, but this is a little bit above my pay grade. I just advise them to focus on the end users. They want to consider different approach, and we will see what will be the outcome. Of course, if you have a good report, it's good to brag a little bit. Of course, not with a 100-page document, because nobody will really read unless he needs. But you saw the Santander values. Also, we had the panel where some institutions showed their reporting. You choose the good-looking numbers, and you can actually promote, increase your brand value as a green bank, as a green company, and kind of build business around that at the end of the day, right? And also, in general, for the kind of economy purposes, for the greening the economy purposes, for the increasing the country resilience in general, the more companies are talking about doing the reporting and I mean talking about their reports, right? Greenhouse gas reports, the more people know about it, yeah. And you, by doing the reporting, will kind of impact your peers that are not doing it yet, right? You will also be impacting your clients. So this is also about education and awareness raising, yeah? I will show you just briefly, because we did have very good examples today during the panel on reporting. So I will not go through all of these examples that I have prepared for you. But you can later on look into them, maybe even Google them and read the whole reports or bigger parts. So one of the, let's say, real world sustainability reports examples that I like is the cooperation between multilateral development banks, the joint report of the multilateral development banks. In general, Mr. Mustafa did mention the common principles, right? So the MDBs have their common principles that are defining what the MDBs see as green when it comes to their financing. And then they also report jointly, yes? You have... it's missing calf? But I did download it from the website. Sorry, to be honest, this image yeah, it's a good point. Is it? MDBs, yeah, so... Okay, so you need to ask to be added to these logos because it's actually added as a one set of logos.
I just was kidding, but we are providing information for the development of the report.
Reach out to them.
Started as a joke, but now I'm a little bit worried about why our logo isn't appearing.
This is taken from the report. I will check today if it's the latest report, okay? Because maybe it's because I copy this image all the time.
Let's keep the comment as a joke.
No, okay, no. If you're doing reporting, we need to take care of it, right?
Yeah, I think that we have two reports, in fact, provided each year from the IDFC from one side, and MDBs on the other side. And these reports are used to be what are the contribution of the national and the multilateral development banks to the $100 billion that are on the UNFCCC Paris Agreement. And I think that we cannot have the same information in both reports, otherwise we will have a double counting. So this, I think that we have only one. Yes, we cannot be in the two reports.
It might be the case. So you might be providing information, but you also say, by the way, we are reporting in another report, and they just don't include it here. But I don't know the case.
Mustafa, just to be sure that I'm understanding correctly what you are saying, we can participate in as IDFC members and as MDB members in the reporting. That's your point. We have to appear in one of those reports, but okay, understood.
Yeah, Mr. Mustafa touched a very important thing, the 100 billion goal, right? If we say we provided €1 million and we reported twice in different sources, then we are left, with just double counting, right? But I will check what's that about. So they do provide information about their green finance by type of the finance. Also, you can see separate institutions providing information. So you can, if you're interested, how does this report look in details? I'm just showing you the numbers a little bit, right? Also over time. You can Google this report; it's obviously publicly available. Then you also have these the banks that inform in a separate way about their scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions. One of them is EBRD. And they do kind of promote themselves, talk about how much green energy they finance, how much renewables they finance, and so on, right? And as I said, I will not be going into these details, but you can look into these reports, see how they are structured, how they are providing the numbers. You can kind of assess which kind of even format is kind of easy for you to read. For example, for me, this table is kind of too much. It's hard to read, right? But there are different ways of communicating the reports that you can do. This is much more accessible for people, right? The graphs. So these were the MDBs. This is the BNP Paribas. They are already reporting for a few years, and I think it's really worth to look into the BNP Paribas report. It's nicely structured, and it already has kind of consistently reporting for a few years. And there are also examples from South America, right? So the key takeaways of the sessions that I was providing today. Yes, Christine?
Yeah, amazing. Also like that everyone is really still staying after
Yes.
a really incredible long day.
We are very grateful. Maybe everyone is waiting for the bus. We start a little late tomorrow.
Actually, they
The
told
bus
us
will be later, right?
the pickup service will be tomorrow at 7:30.
Yes, 10 minutes.
10 minutes later.
Right.
So, because they said based on the traffic, it should work out. So, just as a reminder, some people who are leaving in the evening, you should inform them whether you want to go back after the event to the hotel. So just check out and leave your luggage in the hotel so that they organize the pickup service from the hotel to the airport, or whether you want to take your luggage with you here and go from here to the airport. So just talk. But I don't know what
Hello. What we decided is that it's better that everyone that is leaving tomorrow checkouts tomorrow morning, brings the luggage here, and we'll leave here to the airport. Okay? And we have some room to put all the luggage. And actually, we have an update for the pickup tomorrow before the event. We said 7:30.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Already everyone
7:30.
was happy.
But then we have to really to be on time. And everyone who is leaving in the evening for the airport, take your luggage with you. So look for this lovely lady. And for all IDFC members, we are really more a bit earlier in time, but at 5, the bus is waiting outside for exactly. So I think first, really thanks very much
Yeah, we can
for
close
being
up for
like
today.
the guinea pigs. We already know the results, but we will just tell them tomorrow for this ceremony. We will combine it. Makes it more.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we keep like the surprise.
Let's not spoil the evening.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we want to survive.
Yeah.
So you have.
But can I ask you? Is the game? Did you like it? Did it bring value for you? Mechanics of the game.
I'd like to take it apart, the back end, have a look at it, and then I'll be happy.
So I can tell you when it comes to the savings and the costs, there are rough figures. So because we kind of came up with the idea of the game quite recently to make the training more interesting, so I just used some rough figures from some case studies of projects that I did. But some of them might not fit perfectly together. But the game was about you using the Excel file rather than exact, tons of CO2. Understand? That's a different story, right? So, you have some comment?
Yeah. Instructions could have been more better. Like.
Excuse me. Instructions. Yes, we understood that already.
Yeah. And some options like second and third, like either or, using both.
Yes.
So those were missing.
Yes.
We already fixed some of the cards, but really, also you can just send us or tell us because we would really like to improve.
It was the third time the game was played. First one was me doing fast. Second was Christine with her children. And this is the third time. So each time the game got better, and the next time it will be even better. But I really hope we achieve this goal, that you kind of looked into it and understood also it's not so complicated as it might seem.
So for the IDFC members, we are meeting outside. So enjoy some minutes to take some fresh air.